Hi, I'm Diedrich Bader. I'm in studio with The Hollywood Reporter.
You're here to talk all things American Housewife.
Yeah.
Better Things and Veep.
That's right.
First with American Housewife, though, what stood out to you about the script when first joining?
You know, it has a very distinctive voice.
Yeah.
It's Sarah Dunn, our creator of the show. She managed to create a character that was sympathetic and awful all at the same time. She, the Katy character, says things out loud that a lot of moms think. So some people, and it's more people than not, resent the fact sometimes that they have kids at all, that their life has completely changed, that they have to give up their career, that they're now saddled with this incredible amount of responsibility. And, you know, it's a slog. And you can't say that kids are always grateful for the amount of work that you have to do.
Yeah.
They're not. Because they just assume you're the mom, so you're going to be doing that work. So she voices all of those things that a lot of women just feel. So to me, when I read it as a dad, I thought, yeah, that's right.
That's totally right.
So from her voice, also super interesting, and also I love the interior monologue. But one of the things that really appealed to me about Greg was that he really loves his wife.
No.
And not in a snarky sort of way.
Not that he takes a backseat, but he kind of
doesn't take a backseat. He lets her handle the household, and he stands up for himself. But he also just really genuinely loves her and wants to contribute to the family. He wants to be responsible for the kids. He's not trying to see his friends or go play golf, or he doesn't make any kind of snide remarks about being, saddled with his family. He really loves it, and that was really hard to find because that's how I feel about my kids. I'm really happy to be a dad. Like, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm very grateful to my wife. I give her as much support as I possibly can. To find comedy in that is difficult because it's an easier thing to hang your hat on, to have somebody go, I don't want to do this, or yeah, you do it, honey. Yeah, I have nothing else to do. I'm at work and getting out of things, but that's not Greg's case.
Now, you're on, obviously, American Housewife is on ABC, it's
Yes.
broadcast, and you're also on Better Things and
Yes.
Veep, which is more cable. What are the biggest differences, would you say?
Well, I would say there's a lot of differences and there's also a lot of similarities.
Okay.
One of the similarities is that a strong woman is in each lead. And in their own way, they're telling a kind of feminist tale. For Housewife, it's that she, while taking the mantle, sort of resents it of being a parent, which is understandable.
Yeah.
In Pam's case, she is a single mom and also a functioning human being. She goes to the bathroom. So there's, she covers, a lot. But she covers things like that, and that in its own way is kind of a groundbreaking sort of feminist tale. And then the other, of course, the first female president, and also an almost unsympathetic lead. Like, Selena's really awful. At the same time, you understand her. So I would say all three have like different ways of approaching feminism in their own like category. What separates them is, I think, the idea of network television casting the widest possible net.
Yeah.
So we're trying to appeal literally to the biggest audience that we possibly can, and create a family show that everyone can sit down and watch. And I'm really proud of that.
There have been a lot of fun moments on American Housewife. What has been, I guess, your favorite moment? And you recently had George Hamilton on. How was that as a guest star?
George Hamilton. I didn't know what it was gonna be like having him on there.
He's a legend.
He's a legend, and I thought, is it gonna be cheesy? What's he gonna be like? And the single greatest raconteur I've met in Hollywood, and I've met a lot, is George.
Okay.
He tells the best stories, and you're totally wrapped. First of all, he's extremely charming.
Yeah.
But also, he has, in one form or another, known everyone that you want to hear a story about.
That's so true.
From Imelda Marcos to Elvis. He had the same manager. The Colonel was his manager. Crazy, right?
wild.
I was like, seriously? He goes, I was Elvis's pallbearer, one of them. That's a
Insane.
great start for a story. So I was Elvis's pallbearer. It's not like you're going to go, all right, I'm going to get some coffee. You're not going to drop out of that
No,
story. You're like,
it's-
okay, hold. Yeah.
What's the story you think he's going to tell about you? Is there one?
I don't know. That's interesting. No, I don't know. Tender lover, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
What has been your proudest moment on Better Things? You've said once that it's been the honest you've ever been on screen.
Yeah.
How has that experience been for you?
Better Things is a really cool experience. It's a set like no other. So it has a very laid-back hipster vibe. Everybody is very hangout. Like it's really cool. You basically barely know that the camera's rolling. She wants the rhythm of life. So you take time to come up with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And she leaves that time in, which is fascinating. Everybody else just cuts, like Veep, for example, super fast paced. So you talk right on top of somebody else's and you have a joke all ready to go. No one actually thinks that quickly. But on Better Things, she allows that time to happen, and that's where the comedy
It's a tone,
really comes
and
from.
it's kind of like
tone.
a genuine comedy.
Totally. I didn't get it at first. The first scene that I did with her, I sold my jokes like I do all the time. And then I watched playback. It's rare that a director lets you watch playback because they loses some sense of control. So she was, but check it out. And I watched it, and I thought, oh, I'm missing it. I'm totally missing it. So I need to slow down and really mean what I'm saying. And that built up to the moment where I was genuinely honest. My father had just passed away, and I was afraid of dying.
Yeah.
And my character said he's afraid of dying. And the fact that life and a part coincide, it happens very rarely. You're supposed to always try to get to that depth, but a lot of times it doesn't happen. And in that moment, I was being as honest as I have ever been. I was, at that moment, very afraid of dying.
Next up is Veep.
Yeah.
What are you going to miss most about the show, and what do you think other people will miss most?
Everything.
Yeah.
Veep changed my life.
Yeah.
This is a show that has a lot of people in show business that watch it, so I can actually talk about show business.
Yeah.
A lot of show business for everyone is about the nature of perception. So I felt like before Veep, I was considered to be a broad comedy guy. So Office Space, Big Character, Napoleon Dynamite, Beverly Hillbillies, also Oswald on the Drew Carey Show. These are all very broad characters, so they're not like me at all. And I had gotten to a point where all that I was offered were these really broad roles. And I was, for lack of a better way to put it, sick of being me.
Yeah.
I was tired of me. And then Veep came along, and I did one guest star spot. And at the end of the scene, Julia patted me on the shoulder and went, "Good job." And I said, "Well, thanks." And then the cameraman went, "Hey, you're coming back."
Yeah.
And I went, "What do you mean? That one tap?" He goes, "Yeah." I mean, it was basically like being
Just
called over
doubles
by
up,
Carson,
yeah.
But I didn't know it at the time because it just felt another actor just giving me a nice thing. And she brought me back.
Office Space recently celebrated its 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Can you believe it's been 20 years?
No, I rolled my eyes because I missed both screenings that were the 20th anniversary because of work, and it really disappointed me.
Yeah.
Like, I really wanted to go because, when I first saw it opening weekend, it was me and my wife. It was a total bomb. Like there was no one there except one other person who left about halfway through. So it was really just my wife and myself. I loved the movie, but it's also, being in show business, I saw it through the eyes. It's a bomb.
Yeah.
It's going to do nothing for me. I spent all that time, and I really loved it, and I was like, I don't know anything about America's taste. I'm the worst tastemaker probably in Hollywood because I love every frame of that movie, and it's a colossal bomb. Then, like 2 years in, started getting caught onto it. I never watched it when I was on Comedy Central. And then at the 10th anniversary in Austin, where we shot it, I went to the screening at South by Southwest, which sold out in like seconds or something. People paid like a ton of money to scalping for the Office Space. And then it was like Rocky Horror Picture Show. People knew every line, and the waves cascaded off of the screen. And it was like, oh, it is funny. Yeah. Even strangers like it.
It's also 15 years since the release of Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Another
Body your sensei. Yeah.
What do you think Rex is up to now?
Right? He's probably still in the octagon, but a lesser version, like a smaller octagon for older fellas. Yeah. But, he's still got the moves. But I was doing a voiceover, and this kid that I was working with goes, "Oh my God, you're Rex Kwon Do." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, right, yes, no, I am." I hadn't seen it. And he started quoting, like, "Do that part where you say this." I had learned the lines the night before.
What was the part?
Oh, it was like, the bad boys, like, Stella. Oh, like all of the lines. That was the thing. He knew every single line of Rex. I didn't remember them because even though I learned it the night before, and then I did it 2 takes, and then I left. I totally forgot, but then I never saw the movie. Well, I saw it years later, but not before I saw this kid. And he knew, I was like, wait a second. because it creeped up on me. Like, how do you know every line? How many times have you seen the movie? He said 10. And I thought, wow, this is going to do pretty well. This might be actually my one hit that I've ever had. And it turns out, it really did well.
Thank you so much for being here. This was
It was a real pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Seriously,
thank you very much. Thanks for having me.